I'm here with my friend Adam. Today we're going to be talking about cultures and subcultures and healthcare. So thank you for being with me today and for letting me interview. This interview is for educational purposes only. So, what culture or subcultures do you identify with?
So, culturally, I feel like I associate myself initially with my ethnicity. So, I'm Filipino. I also associate myself with the Asian culture. Subculturally, I am part of the LGBT community. I'm gay. I don't know, what else? I'm in the workforce also. Yay. But yes, those are the ones that I feel I strongly associate myself with.
Okay, thank you for answering that. You can continue to answer these questions with whatever culture or subculture you want.
Okay.
Or all of the above.
Sure.
So, how do these or this subculture affect your occupations? Occupations meaning like things you do every day.
Okay.
Or things that are meaningful to you.
Okay. So, moving forward, I just want to preempt in saying that I'm going to talk about it as an LGBT member, as a gay person. In terms of occupations, the way that it affects me is that I conduct myself with a little more structure when I'm out in public. I take public transportation to work every day, and so I have to be more stern or stiff in the way that I walk or interact with people. What else? Occupation in terms of job, it doesn't affect me at all, which is great. I'm part of a wonderful company who supports the LGBT community. Other than that, I feel like that's the most prominent that I can think of.
Awesome, thank you for answering that. In what ways have this subculture affected your healthcare experiences?
Okay. So, as a gay person, I am more aware of the AIDS crisis, or just more so the prominence of AIDS within the gay community. So, I get tested regularly. I am very well aware of the difference between HIV and AIDS, how it's transmitted, also the different types of STIs that are around. So those are the things that I feel like I'm more aware of.
Okay, awesome. So, how did you know when to get tested? Did someone tell you to, or did you figure it out on your own?
So from a tender age, this was something I've been interested in, like just to help my health. So there are a lot of brochures or things that have said online within the LGBT community that suggests you should get tested around every 6 months if you're a sexually active gay man. But you know, when you know who you're doing things with and what you're doing, it's more so suggested to go every year. And it's something that I definitely happened upon by myself, but the information is out there. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Do you have any experiences in healthcare, or like have you had any experiences that you think affected you differently because you're part of the LGBT community?
Yeah, absolutely. I also had the opportunity to live in San Francisco for college. My experiences in healthcare there it was more embraced. Being a more liberal community, they had a lot of programs and pamphlets, of all things, scattered everywhere, informing you to get tested and to be aware of the kind of signs that are out there. But coming back here to Los Angeles, it's seen as more, hands off, or it's more taboo in that sense. And so I really have to be careful in the kind of doctors that I look for, someone who is LGBT friendly, and who would be knowledgeable in the type of illnesses and viruses that are most prominent in the LGBT community.
And then, have you had any negative experiences in healthcare because of your subculture?
So I've definitely had a not so good experience. Before I left for college, at the tender age of 18, I had visited my regular doctor to find out information on how I can help myself while I'm away on my own. And basically, she avoided the question. The only thing she said was wear a condom. And it's like, I already know that, but, that's why I push so much for education, because, there is progress in the science community who can help us. Like there is a pill out there called PrEP that helps prevent the contraction of HIV, AIDS. And it's actually such a progress that it's 98% effective.
Wow.
So you can basically count how many people have contracted it after being on the medicine. So, not a lot of people know that, that there's something out there that you can do before you even do anything with someone else to help you.
Amazing,
So,
thank you. So, your perspective is that healthcare providers should educate themselves on what's out there so they can relay the message to you.
Yeah.
And to have a safe environment
Definitely.
for people to come to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I take public transportation to work every day. And on the subway, they have posters for something called PrEP Heroes to publicize and to tell the LGBT community that this thing is out there for you to help you. Even more so, I wish that healthcare providers would embrace the community. Just because treatment for HIV/AIDS is costly, these are things that we allocate our national budget to already. Cancer research, MS, everything else, and it's like the allocation of the budget for HIV/AIDS funds research is not as much for those other diseases. Even though this is still something that's affecting our community, this is still something affecting, us nationally, globally. I just feel like this was something that the healthcare providers embraced in helping us find a solution for something that's so grave.
So my next question was, what do you wish healthcare providers understood about your subculture or subcultures?
Okay. I wish they knew a lot about my culture and subculture. Being in or being aware of what's going on in healthcare now, I understand that there's a lot of fear by the politicians who are, passing these laws, currently deducting help for people who don't necessarily have that readily available. Especially with the LGBT community, I feel that there was some sort of insurance coverage for the tests that we have to undergo, or not necessarily have to undergo, but for preemptive purposes, what's going on. Even more so, just education more readily available, whether it be from your main healthcare provider, the insurance company, more programs to educate people about it.
Awesome. Okay, and I have one more question.
Sure.
What could a healthcare provider do or say or maybe have in their clinic that tells you that this is a safe place to come?
I know that there are a lot of directories out there who have doctors who register and say that they're LGBT friendly. I feel like every insurance company should have that, or some sort of, we have gay and lesbian business alliances. We have those kinds of programs, and I feel the same thing could be done for healthcare, where people are represented in saying that they are friendly with the LGBT community and that they have services that cater to the LGBT community.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with
Of
me, for answering my
course.
question.